This is Jonathan Agger, fifth pro boxing fans, joined by Gareth A Davies, journalist of the Telegraph Talk Sport. Gareth, dramatic night last night in Saudi Arabia. Anthony Joshua knocking out Kristian Prenga. But what was going through your mind in round one when he went down?
Well, like you say, it was two of the most bizarre rounds I think I've ever witnessed, frankly. A journeyman Kristian Prenga from Albania, we'd barely heard of. I know he stopped beat Joey Dewejko, who'd given Anthony Joshua problems against in sparring before he lost to Andy Ruiz. But it was an absolutely shocking first round in which Anthony Joshua got caught, looked like he had no legs. Yes, he survived the round, but it looked like Prenga was a punch or two away from catapulting Anthony Joshua into history and consigning this $250 million fight with Tyson Fury into desert dust. It was very peculiar. As I say, it looked like his legs had gone from the start. He did that thing where he grins when he's in trouble and smiles at the referee. I was very concerned for him. He looked shot to bits in that first round, and then he just rediscovered his power and got into Prenga in the second round, and Prenga had no answer to it. So it was very, very bizarre. He rescued victory from the jaws of defeat, and weirdly, I know you guys are out in, or you are out in Pattaya, Thailand at the moment. The night before, when I watched Tyson Fury, I was thinking Anthony Joshua's going to be really dangerous against this version of Tyson Fury. I know he was just up against Marius Wack, who wasn't offering very much at all. It was almost like a giant human punch bag. But Fury didn't look that sharp against him, given the measure I've just described Wack as. And I thought AJ's going to walk through Prenga. I predicted 2 rounds, not in that manner. But now I think, as I always have done, Fury will toy with Joshua and either beat him on points or knock him out in the last third of the fight.
Do you, looking at what we saw in the first round, I think Paul Smith said on Talk Sport that Joshua's come back too soon from the accident. What's your thoughts?
I think I don't know, because I don't know the level of PTSD that he's suffering from or carrying in his soul or his body, in his mentality, in his psychology. I've got to disagree with Paul, because we've seen Joshua like this before. We saw him against Daniel Dubois in the same way. We saw him against Andy Ruiz in the same way. So it's not like we haven't seen this version of Joshua before, where he gets caught early or gets caught in the counter as Andy Ruiz did, and then he's in trouble. He hasn't got the best chin in the world, but he's a very destructive fighter, as he showed in the second round. We saw all the worst things and all the best things about Anthony Joshua in the space of 4.5, 5 minutes last night. So I don't think it's anything new, and that's why if he'd just walked through Prenga last night and you'd felt all that anger and the precision, it just wasn't there in the opening rounds. He wasn't pulling the trigger early. No, so I don't agree with people. I can hear people saying this morning, there's echoes of people saying Joshua shouldn't be allowed to fight anymore and all these kind of things. It's up to him whether he wants to fight. It's up to him whether he wants to bookend the era against his big British rival, Tyson Fury, and go in there and take his opportunity. He could do the same against Fury. He might have problems against him and then come back into the fight. So, and there's the little matter of 100 million he could earn from it as well. So it is what it is. Fury and Joshua hopefully happens in November. I think they'll go to New York for it. And I know it's kind of out there and people are rumour mongering, but those are the soundings I'm getting. And if they make out that Joshua needs longer, and that's the spin, and then we'll get it in Wembley next March or April. But by then Fury will have fought again as well. You could read between the lines of what he was saying post-fight Friday night rather, that if this is going to be squeezed to March or April next year to Wembley Stadium outdoors, because I think it's too late in November, then I'm going to go and have another fight again, and we'll end up with the same process. Joshua will need another warm-up fight because he won't want to go from now all the way to March, April next year. So let's get it on. Let's make it in America on the Eastern Starboard, and let's see these guys bookend the era. But I still see Fury as a big favourite, always have done. It's a 70-30 fight for him. He outboxes him and he stops him.
Did you see Simon Jordan's tweet after the fight?
No,
He suggested, I'll read it to you, not having that. Dropped AJ dropped twice, sets the tempo. How's that? Prenga totally different in second, something not quite right, all designed to rinse maximum amount of money. Some people's read that as he's suggesting some kind of fix.
well, he is alluding to that. Clearly,
Yeah.
he's trying to. He's not saying it, but he's alluding to it. I mean,
Right.
between the lines, there's no question about that. But Joshua came out. I did think Prenga was a bit facile in the second round, but Joshua had been told to get on him, and he was very effective in that second round. And once Prenga was under pressure, he had no answer. We've got to remember this is a journeyman with no one of note really on his record. And Joshua should have done that in the first round, put it on him, gone out there and put it on him. But he was caught first. No, I'm not going to. I don't think Prenga was bought off. No, I don't. No, I do not think that. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that kind of corruption. It's not like someone's run around to his corner. He was trying to put him away in that first round. Watch the first round back. Prenga was not holding back. There was no contract for Prenga to have to lose the fight. No question about that. And it's not. I can't believe someone's run to his corner in the minute between rounds and said, here's a side payment for you in a brown envelope if you let Joshua knock you out in the second round. Of course not.
Yeah.
Absolute nonsense.
Fury obviously fought in Pattaya, as you mentioned, against Marius Vac. Got 7 rounds in. I obviously was here. Very few people were able to watch it. But I'm sure you would have seen the highlights. They've been circulating. What was your opinion of his performance against what is a very old Marius Vac?
Well, the giant Marius Watt, my big concern was a head clash because he's got a head like a piece of granite, Marius. And it was interesting to see a heavier fighter than Tyson Fury and actually a slightly bigger man. I think Marius is 6'10". I think he is. But he's a very big man, but he's also a very slow man at 46, having lost 7 or 8 of his last 10. He was a giant human punch bag. Fury did what he needed to do, changed shapes, came off the ropes, went on the ropes, a switch between southpaw and orthodox, showed his armory. That he didn't need that twitch fibre, but I still think he looks aged. I think he is slowing up, and he said that to me in his last interview that he's getting older, and he's admitting it, and I'm pleased about that because these guys can't go on forever. We want this fight between Joshua and Fury because they both had huge resonance for the last decade in global and British boxing, and they've shifted the paradigm. You don't need to go to America to succeed anymore. Most of the greatest heavyweights in this era are over in Europe. It's shifted something. It's the biggest shift that I've noticed in the last 10 to 15 years, notwithstanding the investment from the Saudi Arabians and the change with DAZN and all those kind of things, and the move away from linear TV. But Fury, for me, has got one fight left, and it's Anthony Joshua. And if they have an amazing fight and they pull it out of the bag and it looks amazing, yes, go to Wembley next year. But for me, it would be such a travesty if the fight between them doesn't happen. And we were seconds away from that happening last night in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, Jonathan.
Obviously, there were wins for Shiraz and Josh Kelly, but I think they weren't exactly the most entertaining fights. So we'll probably just move on from that to.
I've only seen clips of those. I haven't had time to catch up yet.
Yeah, neither caught fire.
Jarko put up a really good fight.
He did.
He was undefeated. He put up a really good fight. Doesn't surprise me. I picked Kelly to win that on points, but it was closer than I thought it was going to be. I will watch that after we've finished. I've got a piece to pen for the Telegraph, and I'll watch that. And I hear that the German gave Hamza some issues as well, and that Hamza's got to be more finessed as a fighter. In both of their divisions, Hamza needs a really impressive performance to tempt Canelo to have over to the UK to have a super middleweight fight, and I'm afraid for Josh Kelly, no one beats Boots Ennis in that 154 division. No one's going to beat him right now. He's so impressive at the moment.
Last one. Can you still see me? Just pictures cut out a bit. Yep, got you back. Last one, Gareth. Errol Spence Jr. retired after losing to Tim Tszyu. Yeah, how are you gonna? How do you look back on Errol's career?
Well, it's we're talking about road traffic accidents. I whenever I see that clip again, I can't believe he walked away from it, let alone boxed again. It's just extraordinary when if you're watching this now, go back and look at that crash. It's a miracle that man walked away from it. So he's a miracle man in lots of ways for me. The undoing of him was the incredible fight that Terence Crawford put up against him and dominated him, as he did with Saul Canelo Alvarez. Errol Spence, I remember, for coming to Sheffield when Kell Brook was in his prime and being absolutely brilliant that night. And that was when we first really saw him. I loved the way he carried himself. He was amazing that night. Everything he did was right, and he came stronger and stronger and stronger. That's the memory I have of him. I think it was at Bramall Lane from memory, and it was a terrific night. I think it was also memorable because George Groves won his world title that night, finally at the fourth attempt or something, against Fedor Chudinov. Yeah, that's the memory of Errol Spence. A very, very fine, very big welterweight stroke light middleweight. But again, against Tim Tszyu last night, I've only seen clips of it. It was a battle of who had the most left. Again, which is what we're going to have when Fury and Joshua meet each other in the ring.
Yeah. Cool. Gareth, appreciate your time. Thanks for jumping on. And anything you want to add? You obviously at the Bare Knuckle. What else you got coming up?
What have I got coming up? A few weeks at home, thank God, because I've been on the road a lot. But I'd like them to announce this Fury Joshua fight, but I think after what happened last night, I think it might take a little bit longer for them to announce it. We're all hearing mid-November and potentially New York, but we shall see. Get home safely, guys.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Gareth.